If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please, please, please let me know. I will also say, domain is something you need to, I don't know. I always feel like the steps to domain are not that bad to remember, but students constantly forget, and I don't know why. I will say that. If you can tell me why and what I can do to help, let me know. Let me know, okay? If there's a square root in the function, set the stuff on the inside of the square root greater than or equal to 0. If there is division, is there division? If you say yes, then what you need to do is set the division not equal to 0. You are not allowed to divide by 0. So if you get division by 0, you can't plug it in. You cannot plug it in. So all we're going to do is set the division not equal to 0. So on this problem, do we have division by x? What is the division by? What are we dividing by? X minus 6. Is everybody okay that we're dividing by x minus 6? What can't x minus 6 be equal to? It can't be equal to 0. Okay? X minus 6 cannot be 0. Okay? What does that mean for just x? We're going to get the x by itself by adding 6. X equals 6. Not equal to 6. We can't have x equals 6. If x equals 6, we're in a lot of trouble. Okay? So first of all, let's check. Why doesn't this work? Right? Because if we do f of 6, let's plug in 6. We get 6 plus 2 divided by 6 minus 6. That's 8 divided by 0. Can we do 8 divided by 0? No, you can't do it. Right? It's undefined. 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 Okay. All right, perfect. We got an example. Why is division by 0 undefined? All right, let's say we have two magnets, okay? We have two magnets. You know the attraction of the magnet, the force of the magnets, the attraction force between magnets is you take some sort of constant, which is like how powerful the magnet is. You know, you got the weak refrigerator magnets, then you have the really strong like hard drive magnets that are probably gone now. But you have some sort of, they're innate, we just call it a K for a constant, and you divide it by their distance squared, okay? Now, you guys know magnets? How many people play with magnets? You guys never played with magnets? You guys have to say, what? Played, yeah, played. I mean, like currently, you're not probably currently playing with magnets, but magnets are fun, right? Sometimes they repel each other, okay? Now, what happens when you have two magnets that are far apart? Is it hard to keep them far apart? Is it hard to pull them apart if they're far apart? No, what happens when you take two magnets and you stick them real close together and then you try to separate them? What happens? It's really difficult, right? Now, what happens if those magnets are right on top of each other? Their distance between them is 0. What's going to happen with those magnets? As they get closer and closer and closer and closer, their attraction force gets more and more and more and more. What happens if they were right on top of each other? Is that even possible? Well, that's the whole problem, right? They are touching, but then how do you get their distance, right? Because if you zoom in, right, they're not, on a molecular basis, they can't be at the exact same point, right? So division by 0 would never make sense. But if it did, think about the force there. It'd be an infinite force because you get closer and closer. Gravity's that same way, right? I mean, think about if the moon gets any closer to us, we're in a lot of trouble, right? Because then the gravitational force would pull that moon right into us, okay? What happens when the moon and the earth are in the exact same spot? Their distance would be 0. That can't happen, right? But what would happen? They'd be really attracted, right? Does that kind of make sense? All right, nobody cares, but that's a good example, and it worked, all right? So you can't divide by 0. That's undefined. How are we going to write our answer? You draw a number line, and every single number works on your number line. Let's see. How did I do the last one? So every single number works except for 6. So you just put parentheses around 6 to exclude a number. to exclude a number. Man, that looks terrible, right? That's fine. Put parentheses around it. Around it? No, put parentheses, whatever. Put parentheses. There we go. All right, so now how do we write that in the homework? Well, this is negative infinity. This is positive infinity. It's going to go from negative infinity, comma, 6. 6 doesn't work, so we put a parenthesis. And then union 6, comma, positive infinity. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? We're going to do one problem where we do both at the same time.